Good afternoon, everyone. Virgo here. It is March 17th, 2020. This is a really weird time for me to be going live, and I don't think anybody actually had the time in between when I decided to do this and me going live to actually get the notification. So hopefully a few people will show up, but majority of you will probably see this on the replay. One of the things that I wanted to address quickly, because I've gotten so many questions about it over the last couple of days, happens to be about our pets. There has been a very different take on the scenario as far as this illness with regards to our pets, and that is Maisie that you're hearing in the background right now. Everybody's having a chewy break, so I figured I'd take a few moments and do this. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen because I want you to be able to see what it is that I'm actually talking about here. All right, so on your screen, you're going to see an article that is on qz.com. You'll be able to locate this in the description of this video. All right, so quartz.com has got an article up that says that the World Health Organization has changed its position on this illness and our pets. This was put up on the 13th, so just a couple of days ago. And basically, the reason for the change on this scenario is because there was a dog that was actually located in Hong Kong that did test positive for the illness. But before everybody gets very upset, let me go ahead and read what the article says. It's fairly short, and you can read it for yourself, and then we'll talk about a couple of things that I talked to my veterinarian about. And this way it will help you to understand what you can do in order to avoid the possibility of your pets having any problems. Okay, so yesterday it says the World Health Organization Illness Mythbuster page said that there was no evidence that animals such as dogs or cats would be infected with the virus. And on the 13th, that entire section is gone. You hear Maisie doing her little growling in the background here. She wants to speak too. The WHO told Quartz in an email that currently there's no evidence that pets, such as dogs and cats, have infected humans with this illness. The revised stance comes in the wake of an infected dog being found in Hong Kong. The dog tested positive after remaining with its owners who were sick with the illness. The dog wasn't showing any clinical signs of the disease, according to the report from the World Organization for Animal Health. You want to say something, Maisie? Huh? Let Mama finish reading. The dog wasn't showing any clinical signs of disease, according to the report from the World Organization for Animal Health. There's no evidence that dogs can spread the disease or that the disease can cause an animal to fall ill, the organization says. Though further studies may bring new findings at another date. Of course, they're required to state that. The organization advises pet owners infected or susceptible of being infected with this illness to avoid close contact with their pets and have another member of the household care for the animals. If they must look after their pets, they should maintain good hygiene practices and wear a face mask if possible. And then, of course, there's more information. You will have the link that you can look at in the event that anything changes with regards to that. But I want to say this after speaking with my vet. Our animals, as long as they're vaccinated, are vaccinated for many strains of this, different strains than what we're vaccinated for. Our dogs and cats have boosters of these on an annual basis. And there's not been any sign of anything that has tested positive for this to show any signs of being distressed at all. And there's no suggestion of any sort that they are spreading anything. So if you are not ill, then there's nothing for you to do, because it would not be us catching it from them. It would be them catching it from us. But even if they do catch it, there is a very, 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 very slim chance that they would show any signs of distress or being actually ill at all. They may test positive, but they're not going to be showing any signs of distress, and they're not going to carry it to other humans, for example. If you are ill, that's when you would want to actually take some preventative measures. You would want to make sure that you practice distance from them in the same manner that you would another human that you don't want to infect. You would make sure that you're washing your hands constantly, wear a face mask, so that you're not sneezing on them or anything of that sort. But again, it's a very minor scenario in terms of the fact that they're not spreading anything. And in addition to that, they're not showing any signs of illness. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that I did look into this, and I did speak to my vet personally about it for obvious reasons. Little man Maisie and Morgana are like my children. I love them dearly, and I do not want any problems to be had with regards to them. Okay, guys, relax, please. So from what I understand, both from my vet and from the World Health Organization, do not stress about your pets. Just make sure they're vaccinated as they're supposed to be, and make sure that you practice a safe distance in the event that you become ill yourself. If you're not ill, there's just nothing to change. All right, so moving forward. Hi, everybody. Oh, hi. I didn't even have a chance to see you guys because I was on another page. Okay, so who we got in here? Tina. Happy St. Patrick's Day. D-Jen, hi. Ian. Hi, Gary. Papa Frank. Tina, Sock. Okay, great. All right, so this was just, like I said, to make sure that I know a lot of us are dog, cat, bird lovers, and probably many other animals too. So I wanted to make sure that that question got answered because there were a lot of people that were asking me about it. So I will link that in the description for you guys to read for yourself. It's very short. Everything that's in it, I've already said. And if you're concerned, you can call your own vet, but I've already spoken to mine for over 30 minutes about this subject. And there's just really nothing to be that concerned about with regards to dogs and cats. Now, as far as birds are concerned, so Robin, this is not something that is generally an issue that would even be looked at from the standpoint of birds. So don't think anybody needs to be concerned about that either. Like I said, if you're in question, call your vet. But my understanding from what my veterinarian said to me this morning, that birds do not factor into this at all. It would be other mammals, other like dogs, cats. Okay. All right. So unless I got to put that up, Jefferson. Jefferson says, unless the virus can show me a delegation of authority order, it's getting nowhere near my pets. Very cute. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the next question that I've gotten. I've gotten 35 emails on this subject and probably more comments with regards to this. All right, this is about the Criminal Procedure Rule 16, or sorry, Rule 600. Speedy right to speedy trial. Now, the reason this popped up is obviously because we were expecting for at 9:30 yesterday morning DeCorey Pitts to show up in court, and for them to do the sentencing on his adjudicated case, right? But then we found out that due to the illness scenario that's going around, they closed all the Pennsylvania courts. So then people started becoming concerned about what about right to speedy trial? So how is that going to affect? Is that something they're going to be able to try? Is it possible that that they could get out because of that? So on and so forth. So I already knew pretty much the answer with regards to Decory Pitts. With regards to Decory Pitts, Rule 600 or Rule of Criminal Procedure 600 in Pennsylvania would not apply in any way because number one, his case has already been to trial. All this is the sentencing end of it, and so it would not apply in any way. With regards to Sharon or anyone else, however, what we are actually looking at is the possibility of them maybe attempting that. However, there is a big misunderstanding that even I was not aware of with regards to Criminal Procedure 600. Let me read to you what a very high profile attorney in the state of, or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, rather, actually wrote about this. Rule of Criminal Procedure 600 guarantees the right to speedy trial for all criminal defendants. This rule, however, is often misunderstood because clients assume that every day that passes counts for the purpose of Rule 600. This is simply incorrect, and clients are often upset when I explain how time is calculated under this rule. Hello, Mr. Swindle Hoodwink. Thank you so much for showing. In Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth District Attorney is required to bring a criminal defendant to trial no later than 365 days after a criminal complaint is filed if the person is not in custody. If the person is in custody, the Commonwealth must proceed to trial no later than 180 days after the complaint is filed. A countable day for the purpose of the rule include weekends and holidays, but there is much more to the speedy trial clock concept. Now, before I go on, let's remember, we are not just dealing with the original charge, which was March of last year. We're actually dealing with the charge from September on Sharon also, which was where she jumped bail and all that. All right. So there are usually some delays before trial. All delays aren't counted against the Commonwealth. The only days that count are those dates in which the Commonwealth fails to exercise due diligence. If, for instance, you or your defense attorney were to request a continuance, the number of days between the day and the continuance was granted and the court dates are excluded for the purpose of Rule 600. Clients incorrectly believe that defense continuances are included in either the 180-day rule or the 365-day rule out of custody, but this is simply wrong. Now, let me just say this. Do you remember how many times that there were new motions that were put in, new things that were put in with regards to, the Moorish paperwork and stuff that she put on the record, and then the judge had to actually have her come into the court and give an answer on those? So none of those apply. Stalling is not going to apply. Now we know why there might have been the purpose behind attempting to stall, to try to get to that 180 days in custody. But unfortunately, none of those count. So trying to file a Rule 600 the way that Decory Pitts did not work, and it was stricken down by the court. All right, I see questions here. Sorry, I'm late. I just got the notification. No problem, Raven. I didn't give you guys a lot of time. I was in the middle of something myself, but then I decided, you know what? I'm getting so many of these emails. Let me just hop on here and go ahead and put the information out since I had already spoken to the vet and the attorney. DGen, did you see my email about the situation we spoke about earlier? I don't have an email from you, DGen. Hang on a second, everybody. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to resend it to me. I've refreshed and I'm not seeing it. Can you just resend it to me? If I got it and I didn't answer, no, I answered everything you sent to me. So Please resend it. I apologize. I don't know why I didn't get it. Okay, here we go. Rule 600. I've lost my place. Okay, a criminal defense attorney who isn't satisfied with the judge's ruling may obviously appeal the decision, but if the attorney never raises the issue, the appellate courts will deem it waived, which means you can't raise it upon appeal. So, since nothing has been raised on Sharon's behalf, or it would be on the docket, it's not going to be able to be raised upon appeal either. And none of those continuances that were because of discovery or anything else that she put in there counted. And let's face it, the few times that it has been continued, I was only able to count 2 that were continued due to anything other than her own documentation. So in this scenario, I do not believe that there would be any reason to think that Rule 600 has any possibility of allowing her to file that as a complaint and then possibly get out of this. I am positive with DeCorey Pitts that's not the case. And with every other state, it's just a little bit different with each individual state. So for those that are concerned that other people may not serve time because perhaps they're a nonviolent criminal or it wasn't a weapons charge or something of that sort. And you're thinking maybe because of the crisis that's going on right now and they're trying to keep things as minimal as possible within the actual jail system, that somebody might get out based upon this rule because of the continuances. I doubt it, because I believe the judicial part of our government is going to put in an exception due to the fact that there is no way to avoid this. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'll bet you within the next few days that goes into place. Let's see, Raven, your question. So in other words, when you file a new motion, the 180 days things starts over. That's correct. That is correct. So, if it's a motion where you have to be seen in every motion that you file has to be seen by a judge. It has to either be approved or stricken down by the judge. So all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable when you do it the way that these two were doing it. And that is Pennsylvania law, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Everything else that I was able to look at actually suggests that it works pretty much the same, with just a wavering maybe 30 days here or there in different states. So I don't think we're going to have an issue with that really with anybody, but definitely not with these two. So I hope that answers everybody's question with regards to that. Now, like I said, I sat on the phone with the veterinarian this morning for over 30 minutes, and I did have the opportunity to speak to this attorney for a short period of time. Do you guys have any questions? I'll do my best to answer them if you do. Questions, suggestions, anything having to do with the subjects that we were talking about, or anything else for that matter. I'm going to give you guys just a couple of minutes while I get a glass of water, and I will be right back. Okay, let's see what we got. Number of sock puppets infected still at 0. Well, our sock is tough. That's just not going to be a factor, I don't think. Wasn't that uncomfortable sitting on a phone for 30 minutes? You guys. Oh boy. Let's see. I thought that pets couldn't get it. I've heard of them testing positive, but not getting in. That's what you're saying is 100% correct, Hunter. They can test positive for it, but they do not become contagious. They do technically get infected, but they don't show signs of distress from it. And it's believed, or at least this is what my veterinarian told me, that it's because they're already vaccinated every single year against the majority of those specific strain, or not that strain, but specific strains from the same, the coronas, in other words. So because of that, they don't think that it's going to become any kind of an issue. But the questions that I was getting made me want to make sure that I researched it thoroughly. So yes, you're actually correct. Okay. You know what, Ian? He says, I hope it wasn't a vintage standing phone. Oh, I love you, Ian. Let's see. Peter says, sock puppets still susceptible to dryer monsters. Yeah, those dryers, they'll eat some socks. That's for damn sure. Okay, you guys. So, please let me know if there's anything that you guys want for me to try to check out for you that you're overly worried or scared about. I know they're getting ready to probably, they're trying to prepare everybody that they're getting ready to lock down the state of New York, as they've done with San Francisco, I believe it is. I know that it's getting really weird. It's getting really weird. It just is. And I know that everybody's nervous, even though we're trying to be very balanced and stable minded through this. If there's anything that I can do to help with regards to research, bringing you guys additional information on things that maybe are not being covered the way that they should be, anything that you guys would like for me to do in terms of research, or even, seeing if I can get specific types of individuals with interviews or whatever that you guys can ask questions to, I'll do it. Just let me know, because at this point, my job is not so much debunking things as much as it is, in my opinion, to be there for you. For all of you that have supported me and all of the other watchdogs throughout all of these years, this is something we're all in together. And, the scammers can be put aside for right this minute. We will still make sure that information gets out. But, right now we're looking more after our own, and you guys are part of us. So if there's anything at all that you need, anything at all that you want to, suggest, please don't hesitate. We already have the restaurant ban. Yeah. Yep. I know it. I give Denver 3 days before a total lockdown. I really think that we're probably looking at potentially the end of the week, and we're going to see a lot more cities and full states, actually. This is just something that seems to be inevitable. It's really weird. It feels really weird. And that's why I think we have to keep ourselves occupied with other things. And one of those things that I kind of cling to when I'm not feeling real secure, which is kind of really rare for me, but it's been a very strange month for me. I cling to helping others. That's one thing that will keep me going. So if I find somebody that's in need, or I'll search out somebody who's in need sometimes, because that keeps me going. So that's why I'm asking you guys to help me if you need something, by letting me know that. That keeps me calm, and hopefully in the process will keep others calm too. But yes, Hunter, I would expect to see that across the board for many, many other states and cities. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we know how to keep our pets safe. Make sure they have all their medication that they need. Make sure you're calling for a refill if they don't. And my understanding is the majority of the vets are going to have a streamlined, at least around here, they're going to kind of have a skeletons crew, but they're not going to be gone. They're going to be there. So if there's an emergency with your pet, you will have somewhere to go to take them. Let's see. And just make sure that you have their basics, for a couple of weeks, 30 days worth of their medications and clean water. And they should be good as long as you're giving them lots of hugs. I don't think you really need to worry about this illness being passed on to the pets. I'm trying to think if there's anything else at all that I had any questions about that I can answer. Those were the two main ones that it seemed like there were just a ton of people asking the same questions. So I thought, well, I'll address these and then see if you guys can tell me anything that you might need. But you're always welcome to email me, virgotriad@protonmail.com. And so this is just a real short one, but I thank you guys for showing up. And please pass this on if you know anybody who has pets that seems to be worried about them with regards to this, because I know that's been a real stressor for the people who have asked me the question. And I will let you know when I get an update on anything else pertaining to the courts. I wouldn't anticipate anything for at least a month. I really wouldn't. I think that the majority of these places that have shut the courts down are planning on staying shut down for at least 30 days, it seems. And let's face it, they take off every chance they get anyway. They really do. Things can be totally normal, and there's just out of nowhere a continuance for whatever reason. So it doesn't have to be anybody requesting it. It's just happening. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. What do you mean? Irrelevant to you, huh? Okay. You want your money back for what? Showing up? Gary, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys showed up, and I'm happy to say hello to everybody. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.